everybody.
Hello.
We're doing the service for Dad tonight. And we're going to sing a few songs and then Noah's going to preach. But I want to do this one. We didn't practice this one. We're just going to go with it. So. When I get in trouble, striving for the right, well, you know I can call on Jesus anytime. When I feel discouraged, He will lead me on. Well, you know I can call on Jesus anytime. Well, you know I call on Jesus. Call on Jesus anytime. Yes, I can. Well, you know He's always on the line. He is King Almighty, and the Lord God is His name. Well, you know I can call on Jesus anytime. When the storm is raging and the billows roll, well, you know I can call on Jesus anytime. When my heart is heavy and my spirit's low, well, you know I can call on Jesus anytime. Well, you know I call on Jesus. Call on Jesus anytime. Yes, well, you know He's always on the line. He is King Almighty, the Lord God is His name. Well, you know I can call on Jesus anytime. Look at that verse. When the storm is raging and the billows roll, well, you know I can call on Jesus anytime. When my heart is heavy and my spirit's low, well, you know I can call on Jesus anytime. Well, you know I can call on Jesus anytime. Yes, I can. Well, you know He's always on the line. He is King Almighty, and the Lord God is His name. Well, you know I can call on Jesus anytime. Well, He is King Almighty, and the Lord God is His name. Well, you know I can call on Jesus anytime. So thankful we can call on Jesus anytime. I've heard it all my life, even had it memorized, but it was only words to me. Red letters on a page, just something people say, till He brought me to my knees. Those words in John 3:16, for God so loved the world He gave His only Son away to save a wretch like me. Me, the one who needed grace, grace to cover every stain, stains that he no longer sees. It's amazing to believe that God so loved the world means even me. I've heard it all my life, even had it memorized, but it was only words to me. Red letters on a page, just something people say, till it brought me to my knees. Those words in John 3:16. For God so loved the world, he gave his only Son away to save a wretch like me. Me, the one who needed grace, grace to cover every stain, stains that he no longer sees. It's amazing to believe that God so loved the world means even me. Me with all my failures, me with all my shame. That's the very reason Jesus came. For God so loved the world, he gave his only Son away to save a wretch like me. It was me, the one who needed grace, grace to cover every stain, stains that he no longer sees. It's amazing to believe that God so loved the world means even me. For God so loved the world, he gave his only Son away to save a wretch like me. Me, the one who needed grace, grace to cover every stain, stains that he no longer sees. It's amazing to believe that God so loved the world means even me.
Gave me
So excuse me if I can't contain my praise, 'cause I know that I have been saved. Lord, you found me, you healed me, you called me from the grave, you gave me your real love. I thank you, Jesus, you washed my sins away, and now I'm living like I'm forgiven. You came and set me free, and that's what your mercy did for me. You gave me beauty for my guilty stains, and now I'm living day to day by His grace. So excuse me if I can't contain my praise, 'cause I know that I have been saved. Lord, you found me, you healed me, you called me from the grave, you gave me a real love. I thank you, Jesus, you washed my sins away, and now I'm living like I'm forgiven. You came and set me free, and that's what your mercy did for me. Every morning, mercy will restore me. I will proclaim. And even if the world may fall before me, I will proclaim. 'Cause Lord, you found me, you healed me, you called me from the grave, you gave me a real love. I thank you, Jesus, you washed my sins away, and now I'm living like I'm forgiven. You came and set me free, and that's what your mercy did for me, and that's what your mercy did for me.
I'm glad to be saved, and I'm thankful for His goodness and His grace. And that I don't sing just to hear myself. I don't sing just because I think it sounds good, because honestly I don't think it sounds good. I sing to magnify the Lord and thank Him for what He's done for me. But tonight, I want to preach from Colossians chapter 2, verse 6 and 7. That's the first place I'm going to be taking my text. And while you turn there, I want to tell you, back in February, Heritage Bible College had a Heritage for a weekend for those that wanted to come, to think about coming. And I learned in that weekend, Brother Ryan Ralston said that, he said, the will of God is a journey, not a destination. And I hadn't forgot it. But I want to start reading from Colossians chapter 2, verses 6 and 7. As ye have therefore received Christ Jesus the Lord, so walk ye in Him, rooted and built up in Him, established in the faith as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. So tonight, I want to be preaching basically along with that the will of God is a journey and not a destination, and basically some instructions of how to walk that journey. it says, I'm going to read those two verses again. As you have therefore received Christ Jesus the Lord, so walk ye in him. So if you've received Jesus as your Lord, start walking. That's where you start. Rooted and built up in him. And that doesn't mean wait until you're rooted and to start walking. That means allow the roots to grow while you're walking. To be built up in him. And established in the faith. Learn all you can about what you believe. As ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. I want to turn over to Matthew chapter 14, verse 26. I'm going to start verse 26. Now I'll give you the title of what I want to preach tonight. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a spirit. And they cried out for fear. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer. It is I, be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. And he said, Come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid and beginning to sink. And he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? Tonight I want to preach on fixed on Jesus. Fixed on Jesus. The way you can walk in the will of God, because the will of God is not just a destination. It's not just somewhere down the road. It's when you're walking right now, if you're walking in the will of God. You've got to start by giving Christ your all. You've got to start by let the Lord have you. You yield yourself to the Lord. Let him save you. And that's how you begin that walk. But fixed on Jesus. When you read here, you see, but when you read here in Matthew, it goes to verse 30, whenever he stepped out on the water, walked with Jesus, it says, but when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid and beginning to sink. He cried, saying, Lord, save me. The reason he began to sink is because he saw the wind. He saw the boisterous wind and he was afraid. And that's when he began to sink, because he took his eyes off Jesus. He took his eyes off the prize, so to speak. And that's where his eyes needed to be for him to walk to him. He needed his eyes on him to walk to him. And that's how you're supposed to walk the journey of the will of God tonight. And like I said before, I know this, I probably won't talk much longer or preach much longer, but for you to start walking this way, you've got to get saved. If you want to be in the will of God, it starts by getting saved.
That's right.
And there's plenty of people out there that say, I believe I need to get right, but I'm going to wait till later. But we're not promised tomorrow. We're not promised the next minute. We're not promised the next second. So while the Lord is bidding come, that's the time you need to do it. You need to give God your all, because you don't get to choose. Because God quickens your spirit.
Right.
You don't just choose one day, you know what? I don't get saved. No. That's not how it works. When God bids you come, and you're saying, no, I want to do it later. You'd wish you'd done it. Because you may be down the road somewhere. You may die of something immediately, and you didn't have time. You didn't have time to say, Lord, I'm sorry for all my sins. I'm sorry for what I've done. And you regret not giving him your life and not walking in the will of God. So first you've got to start by giving the Lord your all.
Right.
But it doesn't just stop there. That's why my message is titled fixed on Jesus. You gotta be fixed on Jesus. You gotta live it. Not you can't just make one commitment one day and just leave it and just expect you're gonna go to heaven and live in the will of God for the rest of your life, because that's not the will of God. The will of God is for you to live by His Word,
Right.
and to spread His gospel,
Right.
and live it. Live what His Word says. So that's basically my message tonight. Y'all get ready to come and sing. My message tonight is fixed on Jesus. Stay fixed on Jesus. That's the best place. That's the best place to have your eyes, is on Jesus. And you may think, well, I can't see Jesus right now. He's not with us right now, like in person. Well, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. The Word is Jesus. Look in the Word and you'll find the way you need to walk. You need to walk with your eyes on Jesus. Walk with Jesus and let Him lead you.
What if I gave you everything? If I surrendered all of me and obeyed the voice that I hear calling, trust in the plan that you have chosen. What if I gave you everything? And if I surrendered all of me, if I would just let go, let God have His way. I've made a mess of things time and time again, thinking I know best for me, ending in regret, wanting things in life to bring all the dreams I have for me, feeling, Lord, so lost inside the emptiness I try to hide. But what if I gave you everything? If I surrendered all of me and obeyed the voice that I hear calling, trust in the plans that you have chosen. What if I gave you everything? If I surrendered all of me, if I would just let go, let God have His way. I feel the Spirit drawing me to come before you honestly, repenting of my selfishness and pride. Lord, I lay myself, Lord, at your feet, knowing only you can see that my heart longs for your presence in my life. What if I gave you everything? If I surrendered all of me and obeyed the voice that I hear calling, trust in the plans that you have chosen. What if I gave you everything? If I surrendered all of me, and if I would just let go, let God have His way. I feel the Spirit drawing me to come before Him honestly, repenting of my selfishness and pride. I lay myself, Lord, at your feet, knowing only you can see that my heart longs for your presence in my life. What if I gave you everything? If I
you for joining us tonight. We love y'all, and we'll see y'all again probably on Sunday. Good night.
Night.